12 News, your local election headquarters, and we're speaking with some of the candidates on the ballot in November, getting their take on the issues that matter most to you, the voters. Live in studio for the first time in a long time, Congressman David Cicilline, running for re-election in the 1st Congressional District. So, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Good morning.
I think the last time we had you in studio was before COVID. It's been a long time.
Great to be back.
All right, so topic on the top of minds for pretty much everyone consistently here is immigration reform. I mean, we got to talk about that. The current system broken, in your words. So what can Congress do to tackle it and fix it, in your opinion?
There's no question we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform that secures our borders, that ensures that what happens at the border is safe and orderly and consistent with our values as a country that has welcomed refugees and asylum seekers. And I think we passed the DREAM Act in the House to be sure that people both who came here as children, as infants, and only know this country can remain here. We need to pass the DREAM Act in the Senate and get it to the President's desk.
I mean, we have seen the moves by the governors of Texas and Florida to transport immigrants to places like, you know, Chicago, New York, and of course what happened on the Vineyard last month as well. So what would you do to try to slow down the influx of migrants along the border states? There are so many people really concerned on both sides of the aisle about this issue.
Absolutely. Well, what I would never do is use people, that is families and children, as part of a political stunt. These are human beings, and to do that sort of theater because you think it's good politically is a mistake. Let's solve the problem. Let's work together in a bipartisan way, pass comprehensive immigration reform, and recognize that, you know, our immigration system, the evangelicals used to call our asylum system and our refugee system the crown jewel of America's humanitarian work. We should be proud of that, but it has to be done in a safe, orderly way, and we have to deal with the underlying causes of migration, what's making people come to the United States, and I think the Biden administration has been very focused on that.
All right, well, what about abortion? Let's talk about Roe v. Wade. It's been overturned by the Supreme Court, as we all know. Abortion's illegal in a number of states. So remind voters what action Congress could take at the federal level and what your thoughts are here.
My thoughts are I trust Rhode Island women to make their own health care decisions, period, full stop. We passed in the House codification of Roe versus Wade that's sitting in the Senate. The Republicans have a very different view. They are committed to moving forward on a national abortion ban. 157 Republicans have already signed on to a bill that would essentially criminalize abortion in all instances. I think that is wrong. We are reversing 50 years of precedents in this country that recognizes women have the right to make their own health care decisions, including whether to terminate a pregnancy. We aren't protected from that if the federal government passes a national abortion ban. So this is a very clear contrast between Democrats and Republicans. We respect the women's right to make her own health care decisions. Republicans are trying to enact a national abortion ban.
All right, something I think we can all agree on, no matter what party we are a part of, the cost of living, inflation, huge concern. How concerned are you about a recession?
Look, I think the price of goods is one of the biggest concerns of all my constituents. When I'm traveling across the district, I hear about the price of gas, the price of food. There's no question it's the #1 issue. What we have done is focus on how do we drive down costs. We just passed legislation that allows Medicare for the first time to negotiate discounted prices with the big pharmaceutical companies. It's going to produce real savings for seniors. We put a cap on insulin of $35 a month for seniors. We extended healthcare premium subsidies to make health insurance cheaper. We made a huge investment in renewable energy to bring down energy costs. By the way, not a single Republican supported those efforts, didn't vote for the bill. So it's one thing to raise the issue about the high cost of things, but Democrats have a plan to do something about it. We've done that, and there's more work to do, but we can't just use it as a political sort of cudgel. But people want you to solve that problem.
All right, quickly, let's talk about the Social Security increases we're going to see. That big announcement's coming tomorrow, officially, about $144 on average for seniors. But how much will that do, really, as we've seen inflation rising, what, almost 9%?
Right, I mean, the problem is that is a result of inflation. So it's good news for seniors who are facing, I was at a senior center yesterday, it's a big issue for seniors, so it's going to help deal with some of the increased costs. But making investments in fixing our supply chain, making investments in creating more energy sources, all of those things are going to help drive down costs. But that's the #1 priority. We've got to do everything we can to bring down the cost. We passed legislation to go after price gouging, particularly by the big oil companies are making record profits, and you're not seeing those savings at the pump. We need to take them on as well for that.
All right, Congressman Cicilline, before we let you go, on the record, should President Biden run for re-election?
I sure hope he does. I think if you look at what President Biden has done, he's accomplished more in the first 2 years than any president in modern history. He'll obviously make the decision whether to run again, but I think based on what he's gotten done, the American Rescue Plan, the bipartisan infrastructure, Bill, the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, the first piece of gun safety legislation in 30 years. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's gotten an extraordinary amount of work done. Obviously, that's his decision, but if he runs again, he'll have my support.
All right, Congressman Cicilline, thanks for joining us with your insight. We appreciate it.